Podcast was created by me and Daryll squatting up together and doing badass shit. And we want y'all to do the same. So most importantly, squat up in the comments and do deals together. And then like the video, subscribe to the channels. Yo, Daryll, take them away, big dog.
It's about community building. Join the community, reach out, squat up, join the campfire, baby.
Let's go.
I love it.
My guy, we got my guy Gordon in the house today, baby. Gordon is the GOAT.
Yeah.
I'm excited for today. Me and Gordon are just gonna rock and roll. Dow had some things that came up, so me and Gordon are just gonna chop it up about fix and flips. One of my favorite. Gordon, did you know this? When I got into real estate, the reason why I got in is because I was obsessed with fix and flips. And my first deal and multiple deals after that were not even fix and flips. Like I never went on that road.
Sure.
It's
kind of like the new. It's the thing that gets everybody excited about it, though, right? Like it's the stuff that you see on TV and everything, right? And you're like, oh man, this person flipped this house, and they show they made 80, 100, 200K flipping houses, and everyone's like, man, I can replace my job with one flip. This looks awesome. Let's go get into real estate, right? Like that's literally that's what gets everybody jazzed up about it.
100%. That's exactly what got me. But let's get right into it, bro. Gordon, tell me about like who you are, your background, all that type of stuff.
Ooh, how much time we got? right. So I'll give you the Cliff Note version of it, right? So so my name is Gordon Thorton, right? So everybody, I first started investing in, like I'm a little bit older and long in the tooth than most of you people here probably, right? And especially Gomes here as well, but. I first started in 2002. I'll be 40, dude. I'm gonna be 47 years old this freaking summer, dude. Crazy how fast that time goes, man. Unbelievable,
nothing, bro.
I still feel great, man. Trust me, I feel great. I'm still working out. I'm feeling good. I'm good, man.
But the way you're rocking, you got another like 80.
Exactly.
Got another two more lives to live, bro.
Two more at least. Absolutely, man. So but I started in like 2002. Typical thing, like I don't even know if they still have these things anymore, because this is like before YouTube, before Facebook, before all this stuff, right? Everything was like late night infomercials, right? Where people would go out there and marketing and doing all that stuff, right? So it was like the Carlton Sheets and the Russ Whitney was the program that sold me. So literally like on a Sunday afternoon, I was miserable because I was having to go back to my job. I was a chef at the time, so this is what I did before, right? I was a chef. I was working nights. I was working weekends. I was like, dude, I was a mess. I was married, newly married at the time, right? It was like I got married when I was young. I got married when I was 25 years old, but like still married to the same beautiful woman. God love her, man. She's just like she stuck with me through all this stuff, man. But like, what's that?
You got some things to teach me.
Yeah. just gotta keep on adapting, growing together, man. That's the whole key. But yeah, so like I was miserable sitting on my couch, just getting ready to go to work again the next day. And I just was like, there's gotta be something better. I don't want to do this anymore. And so I clicked on the thing. It was like one of those free trainings. I think I ended up going down, I think it was like in Burlington, Massachusetts. 2-hour training. And of course, they did that great event that they put on, sold us onto a program. I bought the program, went to that program. They sold us onto another program, boom, 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 all this stuff. Before I knew it, I was like 45.
This is from like a radio. I mean, not a radio, TV ad.
This is from an infomercial. Yep. TV ad. So for TV ad. So like Fortune Builders, you heard of those guys like Dan Merrill and Paul, right? So like they still, every once in a while, you still see an infomercial from those guys out there as well. And like, I think like Tarek and Christina, I remember that like couple that was flipping the fix and flip show or whatever. They like put infomercials out there. They do that stuff as well. But yeah, it's from an infomercial, and it was a pretty cool model too, right? So it's like you go to this free event, they sell you on like a 3-day event, which is like $2,000 or whatever. And then at that 2-day event, they literally tell you on the first day for your homework assignment. This is how gangster they are with it, right? They tell you to go call you, like there's like a contest for the person that can raise their credit limits the highest overnight. Like this is what they do, right? So they want you to like go back, and they say the person that can raise their credit limits the most ends up getting a free gift, whatever it was. I totally forget what it was. But of course, like I was super excited about it. I raised my credit limit by like 70 grand that day. It was crazy. Like this was 2002. I had unbelievable credit, W-2 job, and it was like raise it all up. Lo and behold, of course, then they start selling you, other packages that are, anywhere from like 10 grand to 50 grand.
Hold on. So they get you with an infomercial, and then you go to this 3-day workshop, which is actually funny to say. This is how I got introduced to real estate investing too. From a radio ad, and then I went to the 2-hour workshop, then I went to the 3-day workshop. It was the Fortune Builders actually.
Sure.
But this is crazy. So they literally bring you through this whole entire thing for 3 days straight. And then they're getting you gassed up. Were they getting you gassed up about like, hey, raise your credit limits because you're going to be able to use them to fix and flip?
Yes. So use your credit limit so you can use this to build credit, and then you can do all this stuff, right? And then of course, what they're selling you on, like they're going to end up selling you other programs. Now, listen, I spent a ton of money on it, and every single dollar was worth it. Like every single dollar I spent, I think I spent like, I forget the exact number, but I'm going to say, $40,000 probably. Like he had a really cool program too. He called it like Whitney University. Like you probably heard of like Trump University that they had, and like he had like all these lawsuits that came against him and all this stuff, right? But like they had Whitney University actually came before Donald Trump did this whole thing, and I think this is actually where Trump like got his whole like idea to do this. But it was a really great program. Like I signed up for like a property management program, a wholesaling program, a fix and flip program, like all this stuff. You could buy a package deal. And so that when you bought that package deal, it was like you traveled around different areas of the country, and you would go to like a week-long event where they would just teach you how to do this system. It was really cool. It's a really cool format. But so I did that. And then of course, like I honestly didn't do anything with it. I got all jazzed up. I got all this information, and I didn't do anything with it. I ended up actually like getting my real estate license instead, because I was like, you know what? I just want to get into real estate full time, but I don't know how to I need to make some money, right? So I'm like, I'm just gonna go, and this is very common, and I see people doing this nowadays as well, right? Where it's like, I'm gonna get out of my W-2 job. So, but I'm kind of don't want to go all in on that real estate investing side of stuff. So I'm actually going to go like get my real estate license as well. And then I'm going to sell real estate. So I'll be in the business, and then I'll be able to do my investing as well. I think it's a great idea to do that. And I'm still a licensed agent, right? Like still a licensed agent. Just got licensed in South Carolina as well. I think there's a huge benefit for being an investor, and also being licensed. Some people will disagree with me with that. That's totally cool. Doesn't matter to me. I look at it now. I don't sell any of my own properties anymore. Literally, for me, it's all about getting information, being able to run my own comps, finding, being able. I blast out offers via that MLS to people. I don't have to worry about anything. So like that's kind of my game plan there. But I completely failed. I didn't do the work. I just failed, dude. That's really all I can say about it. I was afraid to pull the trigger. And dude, this was the thing about it too, was that like, it would have been the greatest time for me to become a real estate investor, because like from 2002 to like 2007, it was just free money. Like you could literally do no doc loans, right? Like you just had to breathe, and they would give you a loan. And then it was obviously that led to the 2008, 2009 crash, all that stuff. But like, I was just too afraid to pull the trigger on anything. And I really wish I had done it. But it didn't work out, and that's okay. Things happen for a reason. I ended up actually getting out of it, going and getting a job working for UPS. So I literally was a dude that like drove the big brown truck everywhere, right? And did that job for about a year and a half, and I hated that thing too. Like I'm just not made to work for anybody. Like I literally. Now I understand, like I'm completely unemployable. Like you don't want me as an employee. You just don't want me as an employee.
Here's what I say. I say if I ever came into your business to be an employee, I would take your stuff in like 2 days and just be out. I'd be like, all right, I got what I need here. I'm gonna go do it on my own.
Right, I'm gonna go do it. Yeah. So I did. So that. So I did.
What do you think prevented you from taking action? Because you went to this. Do you mind me asking how much did you spend on the mentorship?
I'm gonna say somewhere around like 40, 50K.
Holy crap. So 40, 50K in. It sounds like a really in-depth mentorship where you got enough information to build a business.
Oh, 100%. 100%, dude.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
So like,
yeah,
because this happens a lot. People will invest in something and then they won't do anything with it.
Yep.
Right. And then 10 years down the line, they're sitting there like, what the heck? I didn't spend $40,000. But here's what I love about you. You did not blame it on the course, because a lot of people would sit there and blame it on the course and be like, dang, the course didn't provide enough value to me. The course didn't push me to go do things. It's just like, no, you just didn't take the action on it. Right. So what do you think preventing you from taking action?
Dude, it's 100%. Was my own self-worth. I did not think I was worthy of the life that I wanted. And it was, there was this whole backstory of it. Right. So like, this is honestly, dude, this is what I do now. Like, I'm now in the coaching space. Like, I'm helping people that had the exact same problem that I had, because I'm seeing a huge problem even in today's industry where there's so much information out there for people. It's so easy, dude. YouTube alone, there's so much information. Now, you're not going to get everything. Like, I'm huge. Like, I always think you need to be with a coach, or you should be JVing with experienced people, whatever it would be. Like, that is going to be the ticket for you to fast track it and to help you save a bunch of money, without a doubt. Right? Utilize like your skills, utilize my skills, like all the stuff that we've gone through. Now, no matter what, you're going to have to go through shit, because you're not going to learn it, right, until you actually go through it. And I don't know about you, dude, but I've never had one transaction that's been the same. Like, I learned something new from every transaction, right? Mm-hmm. And I've done hundreds and hundreds of them. You know what I mean? And I still learn something new from every single transaction, which I love. And that's what I love about this game, is that it's always different. It's always changing. And that's really good for someone with my type of personality. But yeah, so like 100% self-worth issues. And it's a lot of the stuff is generational stuff, man. Like, we get a lot of stuff that's passed down to us, the good and the bad. Good stuff that gets passed down to us, right? And then there's the bad stuff. And a lot of the stuff that gets passed down to us, it's not even like our parents or our grandparents or aunts and uncles or friends or anything mean any ill intent towards us, but they only know like one set of mindset. Like, we're taught one way to think in this world, in society, right? From when we're brought up to what we're supposed to do, right? Like, society is pretty much like, hey, listen, you're supposed to go to school, you're supposed to get good grades, and then you're supposed to go to college, get into debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, right? Then you're going to go get a job. You're going to go work for someone else for your whole entire life. You're going to go buy a house. You're going to get married. You're going to have some kids. Like, this is like, that's the blueprint that they put out there for us, right? And I think that's honestly where there's why we have so much problems with mental health and depression nowadays, because we're not wired to actually be that type of person. Like, some people are, and it works totally fine for them, but a lot of people aren't. But that's my whole thing, was like literally self-worth. I had some things that, I had some things that happened to me when I was younger that, like, listen, I'm not like a woe is me guy at all. But things that have happened to me along the way that has stopped me from moving forward and believing in myself. And hey, like, a lot of people had it a lot worse than I have. That's all I know, right? Yeah. But like, it's these stories that we tell ourselves about we're not worthy of what we want to do. And then even when we start, like, I still even have stories now. Like, I'm trying to go to another level now, so I have to break the story of who I think I am right now. Like, I literally have to adjust my own identity to become that, to take it to a whole nother level now. Right. And this is like a never ending process that continues to keep on going and going and going. So
that's so interesting, especially that we're talking about it right now. I just had a conversation with my pastor this morning, and he was telling me, he was like, dude, I went to this pastor's house like a couple years back, and this pastor was making millions of dollars. And the pastor was explaining to my pastor how he was making millions of dollars as a pastor. And my pastor's just sitting there like starstruck, like, pastors aren't supposed to be making that money. Like, what, how, why? And his pastor told him that he went to, he's like, bro, no, you deserve this. This is something that the kingdom provides. You literally can have this. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to pour into you and show you how you can actually have this, because he didn't believe it at first. And then all of a sudden, homeboy started taking off.
Mm-hmm.
So did it take somebody to kind of help you realize that, or did you just come up with that on your own?
I mean, I've been a little bit of both, right? So like it took a couple different people to help guide me to where I needed to be and to help me solve with my own stuff that I had going on, right? But then it's on me to actually show up every day and do the work and to move forward, right?
Yeah.
Like no one can do the work for us. Like we have to literally just show up and start doing it. But yeah, it took someone, Dude, I have coaches. I still have coaches. I'm in California right now, right? Like I just flew into California today. I'm doing a 2-day event with one of my coaches that I pay a lot of money to every single year, so that I can continue to like get better, right? And like the people that have walked in front of me, like they're teaching me the steps that they took, right? And so then I can just like, so I'm always looking for guidance from people that are above me.
How many flips have you done?
Flips, like just like fixing flips, or like
just real estate deals in general.
I never counted them, but I'm gonna say probably close to over 300.
Holy crap! Over 300 deals in your lifetime, and you are still paying for mentors and still getting guidance and coaching and everything like that.
100%, dude. 100%.
Why is that?
Because I want to be, because as my coach tells me now, I don't want to be king of the shitheads.
I love that.
You know what I mean? I just want to hang out with people. This is what I look at it as. I pay to get into the rooms. That's what I'm doing. Like every single time, like I go into these, if I pay $10,000 to be inside a mentorship, I know I'm going to get 10 times the return on it. Like I'm going to make 100K off of it. You know what I mean? Like if I'm going in and paying $50,000 for a mentorship, I'm going to make $500,000 off.
Yes.
That's how I look at it. You have to, like, the free stuff is cool and all, like it's totally cool. And anybody that wants to do free, like I totally get it, especially when you're first coming up. It's hard. Right? And you got to do what you got to do to get there. But like you pay to get into the rooms, to be with these people, right? Like you and me both are in sub 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're wearing a sub 2 shirt today, right? Like that's not a free program or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like how much money have you made since you joined sub 2? What has that done for your business? A lot, right? And it's also like sharpen your axe, and it's, you know, like you got a lot more skills now moving forward, right? Like same thing with me. Like, dude, when I first got into sub 2, the first 3 months when I was in sub 2, I made $75,000 extra from the first 3 months I was there.
Holy crap. And it's so interesting, bro, because your mindset, I'm assuming, was probably not like that when you signed up for the first $40,000 to $50,000 mentorship when you didn't take action on it.
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all, dude. I mean, it's not like that, right? Because you have to change your identity, and you have to change the way you think about money. Like money is just energy. That's all that it is. Money is not made for us to actually just take it and have it sit in the bank account. Like it's not doing anything for us if it's sitting in the bank account. You know what I mean? Like you're actually, especially nowadays with inflation, you're actually losing money if it's sitting in the bank account, right? Like I just lent out some money to a friend of ours, right? That's in sub 2 as well, on a deal that they're doing, because I just had some money sitting in the bank, and I'm like, it's not doing anything right here. Like I'd rather put it to work. That person's going to make some money off it. I'm going to get a return on it, right? Like you got to keep on moving things around and keep, like, that's energy. It's all, money is just energy. It's got to flow. Or else it just gets stagnant and it dies, just like anything else. Dude, I love it. I think anybody that doesn't pay for coaching is losing out on becoming more of themselves.
Yeah,
because there's always something. There's always more.
I love it. So somebody might be listening right now and they're like, no, heck no, I would never pay for this coaching program or that training program or whatever, because they truly don't think, like they truly don't believe that, hey, if the mentorship or mastermind is $10,000, they truly do not think that they are going to 10x or whatever they invested in. Like literally, like yourself, I've spent like probably over $100,000 now on coaching since I've been in the game the past like few years. Every single time I've done that, it's been like 4x, 5x, 10x, like infinite X. Like actually, the majority of these things are infinite X's, because I keep making money off of the relationships that I have in these
Mhm.
in these masterminds and stuff. So it's so interesting. But I did
Mhm.
not have that
Mhm.
just like you in the beginning, bro. I signed up, I remember, for some random like radio ad mentorship, and I didn't do anything with it. Right.
Mhm.
Here's what my
Mhm.
thought process was. My thought process was so screwed up with money. I thought that if I put money into something, I'm going to get something back.
Mm.
Not because of me, not because of Mike, but because that's just how the
Mhm.
world works. Like, hey, you invest in
Mhm.
something, you're gonna make money back. Dude, I found
Mhm.
myself in the hole, almost quitting real estate in the
Mhm.
beginning because
Mhm.
that's the mindset that I had. I was dumping money into
Yeah.
marketing, dumping money into mentorships and stuff, and thinking that
Yep.
that was the only thing that was gonna make money. But it wasn't. It was me the whole entire time that had to utilize what I just got. But cool, love it. So
Always, brother. Always.
you ended up getting into this fix and flip worlds. How? Like a couple of years went by, you did this realtor thing that didn't really work out. So what made you like finally say, all right, screw it, I'm jumping into it?
Yeah, so like same story that you have to see everybody doing, right? Like I ended up seeing they started doing the fix and flip shows on TV, and I ended up seeing them again, right? When I was like I think it was 2007, 2008, which couldn't have been the worst time for me to try and get back into this business when I look back on it,
Mhm.
right? But I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I got to do. I want to go do this. So I ended up just going all. I actually ended up got my first real mentor that worked with me from day to day, right? And it was actually someone that I met at the time I lived in New Hampshire, right? So it was New Hampshire RIA, so the regular real estate investor associations that they have pretty much in every state of the
Mhm.
United States, right? Um, and I met one of the guys that was a board member there, and he was speaking in front. His name was Kevin Lacassie. Awesome dude. Awesome dude. Still, like, dude, this dude, you want to talk about GOAT, big time baller? He's out there making huge moves still. He's in the commercial space. He owns like tons of self storage, tons of multifamily, mobile home parks, all that stuff. He's crushing it. Um, but at the time, like, he was still coming up, and he was doing his thing, and he just like said, hey, I'm looking to take on. He was looking to build out a team, and he was kind of ahead of the curve. He was like, listen, I'm actually looking to bring people in here, teach them what I do, and I'll work with you day to day. I just need you to go out there. I'll give you the systems. You find me the deals. We'll lock the deals up, and then I'll pay you a percentage of the deals.
Mhm.
And I was like, this sounds awesome to me, because at the time, dude, I was miserable. I didn't have any money. I didn't know what to do. I knew what to do, but I still didn't have the belief that I could do it. Right. So then I started working with him, and I went all in on it. And we flipped a couple. I think we ended up doing like 4 or 5 deals together. Made a little bit of money doing that. And I actually was doing a lot of the work myself. Now, mind you, I'm terrible when it comes to like actually. I'm really good at knowing like the construction. Like I'm a licensed general contractor now as well.
Yeah.
Not in South Carolina where I live, but I went and got the whole process done really so I could pull my own permits, learn the process, all that stuff. But when it comes to like putting a hammer in my hand, like forget it.
You're just like
I'm
me.
not that guy. Yeah, like my wife's the one in our house that has to put everything together because I'm not going to do it. But yeah, dude, like so that was like that's how I did it. I got in with him, and he just held my hand, and I went for it. And we did about 4 or 5 of them, and then I was like, oh, I got this. I'm going to go out on my own. So I went out on my own, and that's when everything just kind of fell apart on me. I got my first hard money loans at the time. Like this guy taught me all about the hard money game, how to do this, how to do that, right? And so I ended up going out there doing some fix and flips, and then that's when boom, the economy just tanked, and just everything fell from out of it, and the industry just was done for a while. I had to reset. The industry reset, and I got caught with some houses. I ended up getting foreclosed on. I actually ended up getting foreclosed on my own personal home. I ended up going through bankruptcy by myself as well from my personal bankruptcy, and it was a really dark, bad time. I was just me and my wife, and at the time, I had my son was 18 months old, and we didn't have a place to live. I literally had like $10 to my name. Literally had like less than $10 to my name. Way less, anyways, because I ended up like I had like $160,000 in debt that I had to file bankruptcy for. So I didn't have really $10 to my name, but I had $10 in my bank account. So that was a really bad spot. But I'll tell you what, the one thing that I know for sure is that my wife obviously loves me because she stuck with me throughout that whole entire thing. So like, you get a woman that sticks with you, sticks through this stuff with you, and like goes through this hell with you. Like,
Mhm.
you know, you got a good one at that point in
She's
time.
a
Man.
keeper.
Yeah. So that was that. And then literally I talk about not having any self-worth at this point. Like now I'm like, holy crap, I freaking suck. I failed again. Um, I got a job. Now I never went to college. I'm not college educated. So I even had this thing of like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do for a job. There's no jobs available. I took a job working for DirecTV, installing DirecTV dishes, making $10 an hour at that point in time, just to try and reset and to put my life back together. And it took a long time to really build myself back up. I didn't get out of bed for probably like I would work like Monday through Friday, or even, I mean, doing DirecTV dishes, you do the weekends too. But like whenever I wasn't working, like you couldn't even get me out of bed. I was just feeling sorry for myself. I was just depressed. I wanted to die. I didn't want to move forward. I was just all sorts of loathing and self pity that I had. Um, but then I knew I had to get back up because I had my son to take care of, and I couldn't let him see me that way. So I ended up working with DirecTV. Thankfully, they saw something in me. One of my friends that was there, they put me in like a supervisor position. So then like I got a job making like $40,000 a year or something, which was like huge back for that at that time for me. Worked there for a few years, and then I got a job as a project manager with a construction firm. Something came up from another friend, and I got into like building laboratories. So then my life became building labs in the construction world for like MIT, Harvard, all the pharmaceutical companies in Cambridge, all that stuff.
Dang.
And then and so at that point in time, I was but then 2017 came around, and I was sick of it. I was sick of 4 a.m. leaving the house at 4 a.m. and not getting back till 7 o'clock at night. You know, I just didn't have a life, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And I told my wife, I said, babe, I'm going it again. I'm doing this again. Right.
She's like,
And
all right.
she's like, listen, she's like, I know you want to do this. And she's the best, man. She was like, I'm going to give you 90 days. She said, if you don't do anything in 90 days, if you don't make any money in 90 days, then, you have to go back to your other job. And I was like, deal.
Mm.
And it took me literally like 3 weeks to get my first deal. After
Dang.
that, I just was like, I'm just going to make it happen. And so I actually, best thing ever happened, right? So I started running PPC ads, Google PPC ads. I started running them back in 2017. They actually were pretty cheap. And I got a call from a guy that was, he filled out the form, and it was, he wanted to sell his condo in Manchester, New Hampshire. He said, I want to sell it for $60,000. I was like, as I'm talking to him, I pull it up on Zillow. All of them are selling for like 140 on Zillow, right? And it's a condo, so super easy to comp. And I'm like, all right, so it's 140 here. He wants 60. I'm like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So I like hop in my car, drive right over there. As I'm walking through the property with him, he has someone else is knocking on the door. There was another investor literally knocking on the door. He must have been like just calling people, right? And thankfully, I just beat that other investor there, and I end up signing the contract with him for $60K. Mind you, I had no money to do this deal. By the way,
Mhm.
none at all. I didn't have the $60,000. I didn't know where I was going to get it.
So really quick, did at this point did you like bounce back financially and everything, like when you were?
So I bounced back. So like I ended up doing the whole W-2 thing. So I did that, and I had a job. I ended up getting to making close to, just low six figures, like just over $100,000 a year. And which was great. It was awesome. Like I was able to reestablish my credit. Me and my wife saved up, and we ended up buying a house in Manchester. And kind of reset everything, got our credit back in good situation. I still have a bankruptcy on my report. It actually is coming off this year, which is the crazy. But yeah, it stayed on there for 10 years, man. It's coming off like this November. It'll be coming off. So Yeah, I just had to pick up the pieces and start all over again.
Dude,
right?
that's pretty
Like,
crazy though. You literally just said, all right, I'm finally back. And you left your job without even having a deal or processes or systems or anything like that.
yeah, man. You got to like listen. You have to go after what God wants you to go after. That's
Right.
how I live my life, man. I
Yeah.
didn't know this back then either. Like if back in 2017, you would never have caught me saying like this was a religion. Like I don't call it a religious thing, but like it's not like I wouldn't say it was God telling me to do this. But now
Yeah.
that I look back at it, this is what
Definitely.
God wanted me to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've gone on through a whole different journey through that as well. And I know you're going through your own similar experience as well, right? But like like things happen to us for a reason. I went through all that stuff. Now I look back at it and I'm like, I went through all that stuff so I could sit here right now to tell my story to Mike Gomes. Right? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's so cool because now I have all these tools. I've done all these deals. I have all these things that I can do. And then I look at the economy and what's happening again. And I'm like, all right, like the whole market cycle thing, right? Like market cycles, it runs 13 to 15 years, right? We're at year 15 right here, right? Now, I don't think it's going to collapse like 2008, 2009. I know some people are pushing all this fear and doing all this stuff. I think we're more in like this reset thing. There's a lot more like strategically, there's a lot of things that are in place now, so it's not going to collapse like that. I'm thinking, right? But I definitely know that it's going to go down. There's going to be a reset. There's interest rates are going to go up, all this stuff, right? So it's going to be a little bit more challenging for people. It's not going to be like the last 2 years where it's like you can just buy a house, sit on it, and make a profit off it, which has been great. But I went through foreclosure. I went through all these things. I went through this heartache so that I can now help those same people that are in that situation.
Yeah.
And I can go talk to them and I can have a real conversation with them. And I understand the emotional pain, right? Like when you're going through foreclosure and you're losing everything, you just feel alone. And if anybody's listening to this and like they're looking to get into the pre-foreclosure world and they're looking to talk to foreclosures, you don't have to go through this to know this. So please don't, right? Don't go my route, but like take my lesson. And when you go meet with these people, understand that they are alone. They feel completely alone, and be a lending hand for them because like the bank is not there to help them. They're too ashamed to even talk to their family or friends about what they're going through, right? They don't know what to do. And that's why, it takes them for the last minute to actually go ahead and pull the trigger because they're avoiding the situation. They don't want to deal with it. They're just avoiding it. They're like, I don't want to, I'm going to pretend it's not happening. And so it's not going to happen if I pretend it's not happening. Right.
It's one of the most fulfilling leads for me to deal with. I was telling you earlier, I think yesterday I was telling you, I was literally sitting down. Homeboy, I go to a seller appointment yesterday. He's going through foreclosure. He has like a pond in his backyard. And he's literally like sitting down on the grass, crying, just crying. And I'm just sitting there like, damn, I'm literally squatted down too, like hanging out with him by the pond. Sitting there talking with him. But bro, it's fulfilling knowing that you have something that can help their situation that not a lot of people know. Because bro, I've dealt with foreclosures in my family. And it's part of the reason why I wanted to get into the business, especially with creative finance and everything, where we understand we can help people out. It's the best. Literally, it's the best. But
it really is.
You ended up finally saying, screw it. I'm getting into the game in the first 3 weeks, which is wild. Like I usually tell people, don't think that you're going to get your first deal in the first 30 days.
No.
It usually doesn't happen for like 3 to 6 months.
No.
But Gordon says, all right, screw it. Listens to God. I'm going to go do this PPC thing. Gets a deal in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What happens after that?
So in reverse to that though, that did take 3 weeks at that time, but in actuality, it took me from 6 years to 7 years to actually get my first deal when I first did it, right? Because like I first started this journey in 2002, and I didn't really do my first deal until like 2008 when I finally got this mentor with Kevin LeCasse. So like it took me 6 years to get there, right? And I did a lot of work. I knew a lot of education. Like I had hired coaches before I got to this point, right? So then like I wasn't like a normal person that's a complete newbie that was like, hey, I'm going in and I got a deal in 3, and bang, like that. I had been a licensed real estate agent. I knew the game of real estate. You know what I mean? So like, I wasn't like this newbie like that some people are out there. And I don't even like using the word newbie, but just unexperienced people, right? And that's all that it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then like I got it
because somebody's probably listening to this right now and they think that they can just go get a deal in 3 weeks. Right. And bro, Gordon literally went through years of experience and years of peaks and valleys that allowed him to like launch PPC and get a deal here in 3 weeks. Not only just get a deal, but get a deal over somebody else who was on the appointment, which is crazy. So
that was awesome. It was awesome. So I mean, I got it under contract for $60K. The guy needed like $5K up front for like moving costs and everything. He wanted to move. He wanted to move in like 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Again, I had no idea how I was gonna make this happen, right? So he signed the contract. I get it. I didn't give him any money up front. I did give him money up front to help him move. Now, knowing what I know now, I would not have done the way that I did. But I was just like, it all ended up working out. But I was like, now I'm like, this. I tell myself now, I'm like that version of me should not have done that. But it worked out. I took care of it. I ended up calling a friend of mine, and I said, hey, I got this deal. Are you interested in doing this with me? I said it's under contract for $60,000. It's a $45,000 rehab. We'd be into it for 105, and it comps out at like 150, 160. So we're gonna make a decent spread on it. He had a home equity line of credit, and so he ended up coming in and doing the deal with me. And I did a 50-50. So literally, I got the deal under contract. I did all the contracting work, or hired it out, right? Hired out the contracting work, took care of the construction management. Because again, I actually was in that world. Like I had been doing project management, building labs and everything. So I knew that space too, right? And so I did all that. I did 100% of it. He just brought the money. And I said, listen, I'll do everything. You don't have to worry about it. And we'll split profits 50-50. So went through it, did the fix and flip, took about 2.5 months to complete the project. Always issues that come up in fix and flips. Like this one had some, the big problem with this one was that the basement, the way that it was set up in the community, the basement was always taking on water. So we could go in there and clean it up, shop back it all out. And then the next morning you would come there and there'd be like 6 inches of water in the basement. Mm-hmm. So we actually ended up having to install a French perimeter drain inside the whole entire thing, right? Wow. And two sub pumps in the corners that constantly would kick on and push out water, but it took care of the whole entire problem. And it worked out great. We actually got in contact with the condo association as well, and that we did a little bit of regrading so all the water didn't come down. We kind of built a little bit of a retaining wall up to kind of get rid of that as well. So that worked out pretty cool. The rest of it was a cookie cutter, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath condo, townhouse style. Perfect. So we ended up putting it on the market. We actually ended up getting $200K for it when we put it on the market. Damn. So we hit a home run out of the gate. We ended up walking away. At the time, again, like I was the real estate agent because I had my license. So I acted as a real estate agent as well. So that was a good thing. Again, another really good reason to be licensed, especially when you're first starting out, because you can make extra income that way. I just do it and it's a benefit to the investor as well, because I was like, hey, I'm going to list it and I'm just going to list it for 4%. 2% is going to go to the co-broke, 2% is going to go to my broker, and then I get the commission split from that. So I made a little bit of extra money that way. But also it saves money for the other investment partner, because if you're going to find another agent, they're probably going to list it for 5 or 6%, right? So you're saving money on that front as well. But hit it out of the park, home run. While that was actually going under contract and happening, someone else called me on another PPC lead. Went right over, locked it up. It was awesome. So like literally like right before that one was closing, I had already locked up my next deal and was on to the next thing, which was
did you keep PPC running this whole entire time while you were going on?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But I had a very, very low ad spend because it can get really expensive and you had to be careful with it. Absolutely got to be careful with it. Like I had hired someone to set it up for me as well. Again, I was only spending like $500 a month at it though. It wasn't a huge ad spend. Nowadays, like you can't even do that because it's so expensive for
That's
PPC
like
now.
what one lead costs.
Yeah, exactly. So you just definitely got to be careful with it. It wouldn't be the way that I would recommend someone that's brand new and doesn't have the funds to go in doing it. But they're always the best leads that I've ever gotten.
You know, it's funny. That's what I did in the beginning. When I told you in the beginning of the episode, when I was just like burning cash, I was doing PPC. I was trying to get on radio ads. I was doing direct mail, like all the most expensive things that you could do, and literally almost ran myself out of business very quick because I didn't know what the heck I was doing because I didn't have the 6 years worth of experience that you had before, right? So it's funny, Gordon. I literally went on my first appointment with my first hot PPC lead ever. Another investor came. Literally, it was probably Gordon. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe
it probably was me. I might have been
came to the damn property and took the deal from me.
If I'm at the table with the seller, man, I'm telling you, I'm not leaving there without a contract unless they're just really not selling. Like I you know what I mean? Like I'm getting that contract. I'm finding a way to help them solve their issue, right? Like I look at it like I'm not a real estate investor. I'm a consultant, right? Like I want to know what their problem is. I want to know to me, it's not even their price. I don't care about their price. Right. Like I never make this is one thing I do differently than most people. I never make offers. I never give them an offer. I always get the number from them.
Same thing every single time. Like
every time.
We will not even, it's a step in my sales process. Step number 6, when you're about to present a solution, like you can't even present a solution until you know what they want and why. Or no, what they need and why.
Right.
If you don't have that, then set a follow-up, give them homework to figure out exactly what they need for the property. Because I'm not about to just go give you some random offer.
Absolutely not, dude. Because it doesn't make sense for me to do it at all. And I mean, I always know what they think that they want anyways. This is the other thing that I actually love about like Zillow and Realtor.com is that they've looked at what they think their property's worth, right?
Yeah.
So like I look at that like, okay, so you think that it's worth $400,000 because that's what Zillow says that it's worth. So I know that going in, right? But I always the biggest thing to me is timeline. That's the number one thing to me is like what their situation is and timeline. Because that dictates price to me big time, right? Like if they need to sell in 2 weeks, that price is a lot different than if you like, I want to sell, but I'm not going to sell for like 6 months. You know what I mean? Like it's a totally different ballgame. It's a totally different conversation that you're having with somebody.
100%.
So that's always why I never give price. I always want to know what their situation is. And I'll typically structure it where I give them 3 to 5 offers and say, okay, this is where you're at. These are the things that we could probably do to meet that number that you're looking at. And then we'll just go from there.
So talk about like, you did this first deal, crushed it, home run deal. You end up getting into another deal, and then you're probably starting to gain some traction here. Talk about how you ended up like actually building a fix and flip business.
This thing right here.
I love that. That's the best answer.
That's it. That phone, that thing that everybody carries around in their pocket every single day. It's the greatest marketing piece of tool that you could ever have. It is unbelievable, right? Like, and I don't even have a lot of followers on social media, dude. Like I'm actually this year just starting to do stuff on it, but posting stuff about it, making phone calls to people with it, right? And people start seeing everything. You start having conversations. I'm a huge relationship guy. So I go and I build relationships with people. I do not cold call. I do not do texting campaigns. I freaking hate it. I freaking hate it, dude. Okay. Like for some people, it's their thing. It's what they want to do. I tried it. Like I literally tried it. But then I came to the realization, I was like, why am I going to sit here and sit here for 2 hours to do something that I completely hate to do? And I'm just going to, and you know what I realized what was happening was that I kept on coming up in the same spot week after week where I wasn't moving forward at all. And I was like, all right, if I'm not going to do this, then I got to find a different way to do this business.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, what am I good at? What are my strengths? What I'm good at, what my strengths are is I'm a connector. I am a connector. I bring people together. I build relationships. Those are my strengths.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm all about meeting people in person, right? Going to meetups, all that stuff, and building it and going forward. That's what I do. And the other thing that I do is I build a strong relationship with other wholesalers. I will easily pay $50,000 for a wholesale deal. I don't care what you're going to make on it. Trust me, I do not care. As long as the numbers work on my end, it's all good. It doesn't matter to me. I try and make the deals as easy as possible. I'm not one of these buyers that's like, hey, you're going to put it under contract and I'm going to start grinding you on this number and I'm going to do this and that and all this stuff.
It is the worst. It's the worst dealing with both of those type of people, and they're kind of one and the same people. People that get something under contract and then try to negotiate you later because they now know your fee, right? That's why I'd nip it in the bud before. Like, if me and Gordon were doing a deal and he was like, hey, bro, so how much you making on it? I would be like, yeah, I don't mind telling you what I'm about to make on it, but just know that this isn't something that you can negotiate down. This is the price. Like, the price is the price. And are you okay with you making a lot of money? And Gordon's like, yeah, bro. Like, okay, cool, let's rock. And then same thing with people that like just try to beat you up on it. It's just like, bro, for me, because people bring me deals all the time. Wholesalers bring me deals all the time. And I'm just like, sorry, I'm not a buyer there. Or I'm like, yes, let's get the deal done. Like, it is what it is. I'm not here to like tell you why you're so wrong. Now, I'll help you get educated if you need to get educated. But what I see a lot of the times happening, especially I see this a lot on Facebook. People will, like a wholesaler will blast out a deal on Facebook. Ready? Listen to this. People will blast out a deal on Facebook. And then a buyer comes in. Somebody who wants to build a business, a fix and flip business, will come in and start trashing that wholesaler on Facebook in front of everybody else. Like, oh, you stink. This isn't a good deal. Ha, ha, ha. ARV isn't that. Ha, ha, ha. Rehab costs isn't that. Do you really think this person that just put this deal, they might have 10 more deals. Do you really think that you're ever going to get one of their deals again? Like, you just made them feel, you just put them on blast in front of everybody. So I love that. So it sounds 100%. Like you just built really good business relationships and just done really good business, and that's what grew your business. The reason why I love this is because a lot of people getting into the business, just like me and you, wanted to do fix and flips because we saw something on TV or we saw, like HGTV, the flips and stuff like that, and we're like, oh yeah, this is real estate investing. And then they go to do it, and they're like, crap, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I like, how do I find a deal? And they go look on the MLS and they can't find any deals that make sense. And they start turning their circles. And then this is what happened to me. That happened to me. And then all of a sudden I started generating leads and I got one deal and I ended up wholesaling it. And I realized as I was generating leads, I was not building a fix and flip business. I was building a wholesale business. So I just really nurtured that business, built systems and processes with that wholesale business. And now I can cherry pick any deals that come my way to fix and flip. But what I have seen before happen is people will generate leads in the beginning because they need a fix and flip, because that's how they think they need to get into real estate. And then they'll get into that one deal and stop their marketing. And then they won't have another deal, right? What I loved about you is that you're like, hey, let me keep my marketing going for one. I don't think you necessarily need to keep your marketing going. But the biggest thing that you did is you made it known, hey, I am doing these flips. And I can imagine you're probably going like this, hey, this is what's happening at my project. And you're going to meetups and you're telling people about my deal. And you might have had people come check out your deal and all these things. And you use the deal itself to market yourself. So now you don't have to keep running that PPC ad. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But a lot of people will just like get stuck. They'll do a deal and then they'll be like, oh crap, where's my next deal? And they stopped marketing that whole entire time. They didn't market directly to the sellers, and they didn't market what they were doing to other people. And now they're dried up. And I think that's where people have struggled. So I love how you went directly to seller in the beginning and you utilized that direct to seller, not to build like a wholesale business, but utilize those first couple deals to build who Gordon is as a fix and flipper in his area.
Yeah, absolutely. And dude, like my marketing budget nowadays is pretty much zero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't do that. I am actually starting to do more of it. I'm actually starting to get systems and processes in place because how I'm seeing the market and where it's going, and the people that I want to help. I want to make sure that the people that are in pre-foreclosure and foreclosure know that I am there to help them. You know what I mean? So like now I'm marketing to those people specifically. And then I just do my regular website SEO stuff, the Google business stuff that's out there. I pay someone to take care of that stuff for me and everything. And then I'm actually doing like, I'm my marketing now would be like more of just content creation stuff. Right. And that's the model that I'm going into. And that's the thing that I love to do. I mean, one of the biggest things that happened for me in, that was a plus was that when COVID hit and so many people stopped, so many people used, and this is like a lesson for life, man. So many people were living in fear and didn't know what to do. Rightfully so. Like, dude, it was like rightfully so. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have, but all I'm saying is that like everybody was operating out of fear and they stopped and they didn't know what to do. And I did not stop. I just went. And when I just went, I like picked up so much market share in that 12 months that it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
because I was just like, I'm just going. I don't care. You guys can do whatever you want to do. I don't have a job to fall back on. I don't have like whatever those loans that were called that businesses were getting and things like that. And people were, staying home and getting money from the government. Like I didn't have the benefit of that stuff. Right. Like I had no choice. I had to produce. Right. Like, and I was not going back to being that guy in 2010 that lost everything. I was like, nope, this is not happening. I'm not going to be the guy that in 2010, when this happened, I just folded and went into went into the fetal position and started sucking my thumb. Right. I'm not that guy anymore. I'm the guy that's like, no, this is what's happening. And so when I decided and I committed to that, then I just took off. Absolutely took off.
It was awesome. I love it. Before we get wrapped up here, let's go over like some pieces of advice we can give somebody that's watching that might want to get started into fixing and flipping.
Man, that fixing and flipping it's a tough one to give advice on if you don't know anything about it, just for the fact that every project's different, right? What I would say is this: if you're looking to get into fix and flipping and you've never done a fix and flip before, unless you have a bunch of money of your own or a partner that can bring money to you, right? Or if you have a really good, solid construction background, you 100% should be JVing with somebody that has experience fixing and flipping, without a doubt. That is the only way that I would recommend anybody, especially in today's marketplace. Like I've completely shifted my model away from regular single family fix and flips, like right now because of the marketplace. Like we actually shifted about 18 months ago of what we were doing. And I can get into that of what we're doing now. But we have but if someone's first getting into it, you need to partner with someone like myself, like yourself, that has done these fix and flips and knows the game. Right. And understands the process, understands like the whole hard money, how to get private money into a deal. Right. Like if you are a construction person, but you don't know how to find a deal, then you are that is your strength. Then you go find the person that knows how to find the deal and you do the construction project for them. 100%. Right. If you're someone that knows how to find deals or is trying to find deals, but has no construction background or doesn't know anything of this, right. Then you're the person that finds the deal. And then you bring that to someone that knows how to do fix and flips and you just partner with them. Do not by any circumstance become like this greedy person that thinks you're going to make $1 million the first year that you do this. And you're going to like hit it out of the park and make 50K on your first deal, like whatever it would be. That like understand that this is a lesson and that this is a long time play. This is not a get rich quick scheme thing. The real estate's not this get rich quick game, right? Like it takes experience. And you need to like really come and join with someone that knows what they're doing when you first start out. Like the first few of them, do them with someone. Even if you make 10 grand, that's pretty freaking cool that you make 10 grand, right? Especially if you're only making like $40,000 a year like I was. An extra $10,000 in my house, like that's awesome.
That's a whole quarter worth of work.
That's a game changer. Yeah, it's a game changer, right? So like I didn't, okay. So the other guy made $30,000 off it. I made 10. Cool, awesome. Like
Dude,
why get mad about that?
So many of my mentors have, including myself, have like had to bite the bullet on the first deals just because it is what it is. And you live and you learn.
Education. It's an education.
100%.
It's an education. And understand what you're learning, and then you're going to become that person. And then you get into the spot where then you can like start helping people, right? Like now I'm in the spot now where all I want to do is help people that are new in the business or that are just like have been stuck in this one spot of only being able to do like 5 to 10 deals a year type of thing. Like that's awesome that you're able to do 5 to 10 deals. Like that's still, you can comfortably live off of that. You really can if if you do, high margin deals or whatever. But like that's great. But if you want to take that next step, you probably should get a coach to help you get there. Like you should get a mentor to help you get there, because there's things that you're gonna need to learn along the way and get into some rooms that are gonna help you out. Right. So yeah, man, that would be my biggest advice. Anybody getting in the fix and flip game, find out your strength. Anybody getting in real estate alone, find out what you're good at. Find out your strength. Right? Like if you're an introvert person, you don't think that you're just not going to talk to sellers. Don't try and I say it this way. All I do now is I get rid of my weaknesses. I have a ton of them. I have a ton of weaknesses. I just get rid of them. I hire someone to take care of my weaknesses, right? Because I'm not going to do it. And what I do is I make my strengths absolutely bulletproof. Right? So like I'm really, really good at certain things. Other things I suck at, and that's cool. I align myself with other people that are really good at, like Gomes, like what you do, like your whole direct to seller, the sales training, building a team, all that stuff. I'm not good at that stuff, man. That's not my game. So like I align with someone that knows how to do all that stuff, right? Like my whole thing now is like I'm more of the person that is in charge of project management, property management. I'm actually like outsourcing property management now because I just don't want to deal with it, but like all that stuff. And I'm all about like raising capital, building relationships, and going and building bigger businesses. And that's what I'm doing now. Triple
down on your strengths, outsource the rest.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You said it better than I did. Absolutely. That's what I would do. 100%.
Love it.
So yeah.
Gordon, man. I appreciate you coming on here, dog.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you giving me some time. It was awesome.
You are the freaking
good talking with you.
We will be back. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, man. I'm all set.
We will be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Another episode of Wholesale Hardknocks. We're coming up on episode 50, bro.
Are you really? Good for you, man.
Almost a year straight now.
Nice. I love it, dude.
It's been dope. Super dope.
That is cool.
But
good for you, man.
Appreciate you, brother. We'll catch y'all on the next episode.
I appreciate you too, man. Take care of yourself.